Coming up on today's show, we're going to react to the latest Giants injury report. We have information on Andrew Thomas and if he is going to play this Sunday against the Cardinals. Speaking of Sunday, we're going to go through my preview of Giants versus Cardinals, and I'm going to give you my keys to victory for the Giants to get their first win of the season. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We put out videos every single day here on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're going to be live on Sunday an hour before kickoff. So turn on your notifications and subscribe and do this. Sub for Giants Dubs. We are just under 200 subs away from getting to 34,000 subs. That's the goal, to get there by Sunday. So help me out if you love Big Blue. All righty, you are watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. Andrew Thomas was on the injury report this Wednesday. Like we all expected, he did not practice, and he is being called day to day by Brian Daboll with a hamstring injury. And you might say, well, day to day is good, and he's probably going to play this Sunday. Well, if you've been following Brian Daboll since last season, he was calling Xavier McKinney day to day when he missed 8 weeks. He was calling Adoree Jackson day to day when he missed multiple weeks. If it's not a season-ending injury, Brian Daboll is going to say it is a day-to-day injury. So I expect him to play for this reason and this reason only. The Giants did not sign an offensive lineman to their active roster. They did not sign one to the practice squad, which tells me that he is most likely going to be able to go and at least give it a shot. And I think at this point, you have to. I would like for him to be 100% healthy when week 3 comes around and you play the San Francisco 49ers, but you got to win week 2. If you start 0-2 and you go to the Bay on Thursday Night Football on a short week and you're 0-2, your season may be done before it even gets going. Andrew Thomas, we know how special he is, but he also struggled a little bit against Dallas. Honestly, everybody had a C overall game or worse. Bredesen and Thomas were the two standouts, to saying someone they had 5 pressures combined. John Michael Schmitz was solid in his first ever start. It's the right side of the line that I am worried about with Mark Lewinsky and Evan Neal. If Thomas is unable to go, I'm expecting for Joshua Ezeudu, North Carolina product, second-year player, to be the starting left tackle for this team. Daboll said it again at practice that Ezeudu has been practicing for a couple of weeks now at that left tackle spot. So if Thomas, worst case scenario, is not able to play, expect for Joshua Ezeudu to be at the left tackle spot, and then they may call somebody up from the practice squad. From Andrew Thomas to Darren Waller. This is what Jordan Ranaan said of ESPN about Waller and his injury status. Quote, tight end Darren Waller will also not practice Wednesday for the Giants per Brian Daboll. Daboll said this was a predetermined thing. Part of the sports science program they have on this season, Darren Waller won't practice one day each week, presumably Wednesday. So they're always going to give Darren Waller at least one day off. And Daboll also said that this applies for Sterling Shepard. So you got a vet in Darren Waller, you have a vet in Sterling Shepard, and the Giants, with the new uptick that they have in the sports science department in that front office, they're trying to use it to their advantage. They're going to give the vets at least one day off every week to see if they can make it through a 17-game schedule. What about another wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson? He started he started training camp in preseason on the PUP list. He was activated off the PUP list, but he was doubtful and did not play for week 1. And Brian Daboll was asked, will the second-year wide receiver play this Sunday? And he said there is a chance that he plays. I hope he will. He has that really kind of generator with the football type of archetype. He's a guy that can go and eat up some yak, and the Giants just need more speed and need more playmakers on this offense. Hoping number 17, the second round pick in 2022, can be out there. Graham Gano, is he good to Gano? I thought that sounded good. Brian Daboll did say, though, that Gano will be fine despite suffering an ankle or a calf injury. I've heard people say it's a calf and an ankle, or a calf or an ankle. Sounds like he got stepped on that blocked kick 6 for the Dallas Cowboys. But Gano will be out there this Sunday is what it sounds like, at least from head coach Brian Daboll. I know this. We haven't even played 2 weeks in the season, and I'm already pissed off and tired of all the injuries. If you are tired of the injuries, go ahead and type F injuries down in the comments section. I absolutely hate him. I play Madden with injuries off because I don't want to deal with that. If you hate injuries, type F injuries in the comments right now. Coming up next, I'm going to give you my 4 biggest keys to victory if the Giants want to avoid going 0-2 and want to beat the Arizona Cardinals in the desert this Sunday. That's coming up around the corner. But first, I got to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor of today's show, Marine Layer. Go to marinelayer.com/chatsports15 and use the promo code chatsports15 to get 15% off. Marine Layer is the go-to brand for great fitting and stylish closet staples. Based out of California, Marine Layer clothes are that perfect mix of laid-back style that also looks and feels premium. What I love about Marine Layer is how their t-shirts and hoodies stay so soft no matter how many times you wash them. That's always a problem for me. You buy these shirts, they look good, they feel good the first time you wear them, and you put them in the wash, you put them in the dryer, they shrink up and you never want to wear them again. I haven't had that problem with Marine Layer, and I won't because of how quality their stuff is. I'm rocking the vintage heavy slub hoodie in India ink. I love this one because I can wear it out in the morning on my morning walks, and I'm going to not be too hot. But I can also wear it at night when the temperatures get a little bit lower, and it's going to keep me warm. You can get hooked up with that by going to marinelayer.com/chatsports15. Remember, use the promo code chatsports15 to get 15% off your entire order at marinelayer.com/chatsports15. Saving your closet one shirt or hoodie at a time. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. Let's close out the show talking about Giants Cardinals Week 2. My 4 keys to victory. Yeah, you knew this was going to be number 1 after the 67% pressure rate that Daniel Jones faced in Week 1 because of the lack of protection. So what do you got to do Week 2? Protect Daniel Jones. And it's not going to be, it will be easier for the Giants offensive line. I will say that. But it's not just going to be like you're facing some scrubs in Arizona. Last week, the Cardinals had 6 sacks. They had Sam Howell under pressure, partially because the Washington football team, Commanders, whatever name you want to call them, is a terrible offensive line. But they had a lot of guys that really got after the passer last week. Some guys that you maybe not have heard from before, but get familiar with these guys because they're going to get after the passer. And Daniel Jones at the offensive line does not block. You're going to be hearing the announcers call their name. And I will call their names a lot. Hoping, though, that we don't have to hear from Jonathan Ledbetter or Carlos Watkins or Dennis Gardick and Victor Dimicucci or Leaky Photo. Those names kind of remind me of the Key and Peele skit, if you know what I'm talking about, the college announcement of the names. I don't want to hear from these guys. Protect Daniel Jones. Step the hell up, offensive line. Number 2, establish an identity. I understand that the Giants-Cowboys game just really fell to the shit is what happened after those first couple of drives where the Giants drove down, running the ball, found a way to do that. And they need to get back to that. The Giants need to run the football. Last year when the Giants had their most success, it was when Saquon Barkley was having his most success. I know the Giants towards the end of last year became more of a pass-happy offense. We saw that against the Colts. We saw that against the Vikings. But I'm not sure that game plan and making this a drop-back pass offense is the best case scenario. And you saw in Week 1 that Barkley had a good game, honestly. Over 4 yards per carry, 12 carries for 51 yards. I thought he looked quick. I thought he looked explosive. I thought he finished runs. They have to make 26 the head of the snake, the focal point of this Giants offense. I don't care if Brian Daboll or Mike Kafka want to throw the ball and they want to flex their muscles of offensive genius and they can be the QB whisperer for Daniel Jones. I don't give a shit. Don't let your ego get in the way, Kafka. Don't let your ego get in the way, Daboll. The best way for this football team to win games is by handing the ball to 26. Let him get north and south, and let him shoulder the load for this offense. We go as he goes, and we saw that in Drive 1 against the Cowboys. Also, we saw the Giants' offensive line in the pass blocking department was absolutely brutal. The fact that this is 25th and not 32nd is actually insane to me, but you see this. The Giants had a really decent run block win rate. Above the middle of the pack, 72% of the time. Let's run behind the big guys. Let's let 26 have a field day against this Arizona Cardinals defense. I got more keys to victory coming up in a second, but I'm calling on all the real ones right now. If you want the Giants to beat the Cardinals, All you have to do is hit that thumbs up icon. Last week, we didn't have more likes in the Dallas Cowboys report, and that's why we lost 40-0. Let's get more likes in our Arizona Cardinals channel. Hit that thumbs up icon right now if you want to beat the Cardinals. Let's go. Key number 3. And Josh, I'm sorry I'm having to say this. Make Josh Dobbs' life a living hell. He hasn't even been living in Arizona for more than a month. He hasn't even changed the address on his ID. He is new in Arizona. He doesn't know his teammates. And to be honest with you, he is not a good quarterback. And that was on display in week 1. The dude had a 70% completion rate, which is awesome. That's peak stuff in the National Football League. But he completed 21 passes for 132 yards. The guy averaged 6.2 yards per completion. You need to put the heat on Josh Dobbs this weekend, Wink Martindale. He was sacked 3 times last week versus Washington, and the Giants need to follow that similar script, that similar game plan. You need to make Josh Dobbs very uncomfortable. Make him have to get rid of the ball faster than he wants to. Make him have to move around in the pocket. Make him have to decide and look at this defense and say, holy shit, I got Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeau, A'Shawn Robinson, Jihad Ward, Boogie Basham, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, and Jordan Riley. Make them fear this offensive or this defensive front. When you look at this Giants pass rush last week, they were ranked 4th in the NFL with a pass rush win rate of 58%. They struggled against the run, only a 31% win rate at 18th. So the Giants, a top 5 pass rush according to pass rush win rate going to week 1. Let's see if these big 4 can do something this week. Last key, play with some damn fight because you quit against the Dallas Cowboys. You do not want to be walking into you do not want to be walking into San Francisco 0-2 on a short week on Thursday Night Football, and you have to beat the San Francisco 49ers because I'm already having nightmares of Nick Bosa and Evan Neal. We need to be 1-1 going into that game. Don't quit. Don't quit, because that's what the Dallas Cowboys made you do. DeMarcus Lawrence, in the middle of the game before halftime, literally said, let's make these mother effers quit before halftime. You can go watch the video on my Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. And then Osa Odighizuwa also was trash talking the New York Giants. This was his quote: you get a sack. You get a sack. You all get a sack. And now, for those of you in the audience, if you will look underneath your chair, you will find a sack. This man hit the Oprah impression on the sideline, mocking the New York Giants offensive line. The NFL doesn't respect you, big boys up front. Protect your quarterback. Show some fight. Play with some dog in you. Because I'll tell you this much. If you go down 0-2 this week, 0-2, you lose to the Arizona Cardinals, your season's cooked. Your season is on the line. You are not going to be in a good spot if this happens. Think about this. Since the merger in 1970, there have been 400 teams start the NFL season with an 0-2 record. According to StatHead, of those 400, only 38 have reached the playoffs. That was not including the 2022 season. That tells me, though, that 0-2 is a death sentence for any team in the National Football League. 0-1, you can come back from that. The Bengals lost in week 1 last year. The 49ers lost in week 1 last year, and they both were a Final Four team this year. It's just 1 week. The Cowboys game is behind you. Focus on Arizona. You're a better team. You're a better coach. You're a better organization. Handle your business and walk out of that damn stadium with a dub, and let's go beat the San Francisco 49ers on the following Thursday. I'll ask you this question before we bounce on out of here. Who do you got? Who do you have winning the football game? Are the Giants going 0-2 or the Cardinals going 0-2? Type NYG if you think the Giants are going to win, or ARI if you think the Cardinals and Josh Dobbs are going to beat the New York Giants. As always, I just want to say thank you, everybody that watches these videos. I really appreciate it. Shout out to you guys. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.